women aren't equal, and it's a feature, not a bug.
Cancelled. You're cancelled.
I think there's a massive war on masculinity right now. The patriarchy is dead. We live in a matriarchy. I believe feminism was created by the men at the top because they wanted to have 50% of the population that they could tax so they could make more money. They want women out of the home into the workplace. So now the children are left to hoot the state. Easier to indoctrinate, easier to brainwash. And I think there's a greater agenda at play here, which is in charge of all of this.
What's the agenda?
The agenda is control.
¿Quién es más infiel, el hombre o la mujer?
El hombre. Y por muchas razones que no tienen que ver nada más con el hombre.
¿Cómo cuáles?
Por ejemplo, la sexualidad masculina no es como la femenina. La mujer tiene un contexto de la vivencia más asociada a su historia, a su ser. El hombre no. El hombre es una sexualidad más orientada al acto mismo del placer. No lo conecta. La mujer siempre va a encontrar para hacerlo más razones que el hombre. Entonces eso hace que la cantidad sea menor. El hombre, por donde quiera que mira, le está echando el ojo a la mujer y si se descuida se acuestan y la monta y se la lleva. La mujer no. La mujer en su esencia tiene que tener varias razones. Que hay una situación, que se conocieron, que ella estaba en dificultad, que tiene mucho tiempo, que ella sabe quién es. El hombre no tiene que saber ni quién es la otra persona.
Ni cómo se llama.
Nada. Mejor si no sabe. Mejor si no sé, porque no me comprometo ni nada. Y el condón resuelve. La mujer no. La mujer entiende que si se encueró con alguien, ya no va a ser igual jamás su vida.
Women's happiness has been consistently declining the more they stray away from traditionalism. Since the 1970s in America, we have stepped away from traditional relationships and America's leading the charge. It is only recently where they say, like, let's step away from this. We gotta smash the patriarchy or whatever they're putting out there. The people who follow it are miserable. This hookup culture is bad for everybody.
Yeah. Make money off of child support. There's something called Title 4D, where let's say you go to court, dad is ordered to pay child support for mom. The state makes money off of this dad paying child support. The federal government reimburses the states, right, for collecting child support and dispersing it out. So you think, wait a minute, so if we had 50-50 custody, if we had kids are with mom half the time, with dad half the time, which by the way, research shows is the absolute best for kids, what happens with child support? It's greatly reduced or there's none. The more child support the state can reel in, the more the federal government pays the states. It's a business, you guys. You think and then of course we've got the feminazis out there saying, these deadbeat dads, these poor moms. No, number one, these poor moms fought against a dad trying to get equal custody. All we want to talk about is dads who they're not deadbeat, they're dead broke.
Problem is that you have girls that are 5s and 6s sleeping with a guy that's an 8, 9, or 10 and thinking she's on that level. But as you said, those guys, they get the girl and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
I just liked the chase. I didn't really like her.
What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning, this thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally, and the gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful.
That's why money's unreal. Literally in the last 24 hours, people have turned $1,000 into $100,000 or $1 million on some internet meme token. There's people out here still getting 20-year mortgages and live inside the financial system. The financial system is broken. It's all broken. Money's not real. It's all fugazi. It's bullshit. It's a husk of a system which they have to prop up by printing untold sums of cash and injecting them. They're just pouring money in this massive hole to try and prevent their broken system from entirely collapsing. And as it limps on, as it limps forward, some people like us accidentally get super, super rich. You know why they're doing that? The reason they're printing all this money, let me turn the music down. The reason they're printing all this money and they're doing it is because they know it's all going to fall apart. So their plan is, let's print a bunch of money while people still respect the money, and then we can buy a bunch of assets, and then when it falls apart, we control all the assets. So they're deliberately making it rain in key areas. Imagine there's a map, And in one country, it's raining money. In the other countries are all a desert. It's dry. That's where the peons live, in the desert. Because they need the peons to be broke, to keep working hard for the money. Because the people who have all the money don't like to work hard, right? But what happens is people like me, we look at the map and we realize where that one country is. Because it's very hard to make the elites extremely rich and not make anybody else rich. It sounds easy, but it's actually harder than you think when people like me who are perspicacious are paying attention and putting ourselves in the same positions as the elites. I'm doing the same things they're doing, they just don't know I'm doing it. So in their little rain country, I've turned up and put a few buckets down. Money's not relevant.
Ever. Hey, what do you think about our censorship policies? And ask them a bunch of questions about censorship to see if they censor too much. They are panicking because they have noticed that everybody loves me and nobody hates me. And what they tried to do is they got the media machine to lie about me and say that I'm a danger to women and I'm a horrible person. And they told a bunch of lies and only 10% of idiots believed it. 90% of people know it's a lie. And all they've done is destroy their own credibility, destroy their own trust. Nobody believes the lies they're telling. And now they're sitting panicking and they're watching every single tweet, every single TikTok, all of your comments in this live. They're watching this live, videos on YouTube. They're trying to delete all the positive videos about me on YouTube. If you do a video on YouTube that supports me, they delete it. If you do a story on Instagram that supports me, they delete it. They're trying to delete it all because they're watching it going, shit, everyone actually loves him and we made a mistake. We have to change public opinion. They are trying to famoose you. It's a big trick. And what they wanted to silence me for is because first they silence you and then they lie about you. They silenced me and then all the fucking media lies came out. Because when I'm silenced, I can't fight back. But they didn't realize I'm top G. So I can fight back. And their lies are falling apart in real fucking time. So I want you guys to know something. Every time you talk positively about me on social media, every single time you show this stream to the Matrix, every single time you put this on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, they are watching. You are part of the resistance. You are doing something credible and important. The metrics are going to end up on some dork's desk saying he's going to look at it and go, shit. Top G's top G.
You know, I just decided Tristan Tate is throwing me a millionaire party. If I hit $1 million net worth by next year, I'm gonna kill that shit. I'm deciding it now. If one of you, the first person, how do I decide it? I want to fly out three fans to the party with me. If you could show me that in the same time I'm about to make a mill, because right now I'm not even close, but I'm gonna get it. I'm fucking holding myself to that. If 3 of you can show me that you went from, I'm saying 100K max. If you went from 100K to $1 million by the time it's time for me to throw the party, I'll fly you out too.
If COVID has not woke people up in the last 3 years, I don't know what's wrong with you. The government came along, closed your business down by force, forced you to have a medical procedure you didn't want, made you stay in your house and cover your face because of something with a 99.9% fucking survival rate. They come along and literally broke every single rule. They broke the Geneva Human Rights Convention, every single law that they wrote themselves. They just broke them all under the guise of safety. More people committed suicide from mental health issues, or more people died from missed doctor's appointments for real diseases because of this crap. They came along and did it because they were told to by someone above the government, because the government's not even in charge of anything. And now they've gone back to normal. Everyone thinks they're not going to do it again for some other reason. You think across the next 30 years they're not going to come back with some new shit? If the men with absolutely zero partners, do you know what they try? They certainly try communication. They're trying. You're just ignoring their DMs.
Thirsty.
Trust me, they're trying communication.
Yeah.
The reason is that we have to understand we live in a world now, and we've always lived in a world where women have a natural inclination to align themselves with the top tier males. I can prove this to you. You see these chicks, they see a rapper in the club. They want to fuck with the rapper. Do you think they believe that rapper is loyal?
No.
No, they don't give a fuck. He's the Don. That's the game. It's always been the game. It still is the game. So when we're talking about how it's harder for men than women, we're talking about the vast majority of men. Because you women, because you're all beautiful and you're all smart, most of you only interact with top tier males. So you're like, well, I have these problems, but he has all these bitches because he's a G. Most men ain't shit. You know that. If you think about it, most men ain't shit. Go walk down the high street. Tell me how many of them stand a chance with you. Usually fucking zero. Most men are desperately lonely. Desperately.
Yeah.
So you want to sit here and talk about the struggles of life as a woman. There are men out here, the male rate is so many times higher than women for a reason.
Of course.
The life as an average man is brutally depressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something. I don't consider myself an average man. I'm a very successful man, right? I have a few genetic gifts. I've worked very hard. I have financial, not gifts. I worked for them, right? I've got accolades. I've got everything, right? My life's great. But life as an average man, Joe Schmo, is literally fucking horrible. And I don't think most women understand this, because you know what the biggest problem about being an average dude is?
What?
If you're an average dude and you work in KFC and you ain't shit and you get a chick, you know what the problem with that is? That means your chick fucks average dudes.
Bam.
So now everybody's competition.
But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his. Yes, that's what I said.
You think if that's crazy.
So you think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property? There can't be an equal relationship?
That one was nuts.
That one was nuts.
No, I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's given up.
That's inherently where you get called sex.
I love it.
It's the bride's father who gives her away.
In every
read
culture.
The Bible, read the Quran, you can go to...
Name
I'm
one.
sure there are some obscure tribes somewhere. I'm not a professional.
But you get it. You seem like a very smart guy.
Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands. It's against the will of God. It's disgusting.
That would assume that if you're going in this multi-universe, reading the Bible, which is there's different religions all across the globe.
And there was not a single woman who was celebrated for having multiple husbands. Female promiscuity has always been disgusting and frowned upon in every single book ever written, ever, in all of history, in all cultures, ever.
So
Disgrace to my bloodline. It's a disgrace to my parents who struggled to raise me, for me to be anything other than the best version of myself. That's honor. I have honor to my last name and to my ancestry.
The only men that listen to feminists are beta men. Alpha men don't listen to them because we already know. We already know they're full of shit. And so as a result, people like Donald Trump were canceled on Twitter. Andrew Tate was canceled on Instagram and Facebook, and there's many others that aren't as popular. So they have all these men coming out now telling it like it is, and at any given moment, enough women complain to the beta men, they cancel them. You'll never get rid of masculine men. You've done a good job of it. I believe like 85% of the men out there aren't masculine anymore, based on what I'm seeing. I feel like society has grown to embrace toxic femininity, modern day mindset of women, and beta men.
You need to start preparing for the future, because the future is based on enslavement. That's what it's based on. It's based on removing your freedoms under the guise of safety, telling you you're going to be safe, removing all your freedom as an individual to keep you believing the lies and paying taxes and being a good slave until you die. That's what they need you to do.
The people that they really hate are not the people in the Trump administration, it's the people who voted for Trump.
Yes.
And whether you voted for Trump or not, if you are a conservative Christian patriot, you're the enemy, whether you voted for Trump or not. They just assume that you did. And so Donald Trump is the face of conservative Christian patriots. Whether you voted for him or not, they have marked everybody as they have to be silenced. And they've launched an attack on free speech. And now they're going for blood now. They want Donald Trump in handcuffs.
Last 2 years, if they have not taught you being a law-abiding citizen is going to turn you nothing into a fucking experiment for Big Pharma, then you're an idiot. And I'm not saying you have to break the law, but you need to find a way to do what elites do, which is bend the law. You can no longer sit there and go, I'm just going to follow the rules and it's going to be okay. No, it isn't. And if you're a man, it's your job to find a way to not be sticking to those rules enough to escape the matrix and become free. Talking about the mental framing. If a woman gets with a man and his frame is correct, that woman over a long enough period of time has the same political views, likes the same music, likes the same movies, has the same friends as him, watches the same things on YouTube, the same Netflix shows. If you see a woman who loves that man, doesn't she do everything the man does? I am the best thing that's happened to men's mental health in recent times. There's no one else out here. I didn't put a spell on the world. I didn't do any magic. I just spoke about the issues that men have been feeling for a long time and no one was fucking talking about. I stood up and actually started talking the truth, and they want to pretend they care about men's mental health while silencing me. They don't care about you. The Matrix doesn't care about you. They would rather you be depressed and sad than have advice from someone like me who's going to tell you to grow up and be strong and find a woman and love her and take care of her. I make women happy by extension. I make men happy with advice, and they don't want that. They want you all depressed and sad. The Matrix is genuinely your enemy for that reason. You have to understand this is not just a matter of censorship and a bunch of lies about me and misogyny. This is them thinking, you know what? We want the slave force depressed. We want these men miserable, and Andrew's making them happy. He has to go. It's truly evil.
Women aren't happy. We're seeing women who are amazing in their careers, but they're single in their 30s. It's not really happiness. Like, I would rather, and I'm going to say this here, I would rather be so happily married and satisfied in a marriage than be the best CEO, because I know that it doesn't work. And the older I get, the more I understand that as a woman, and I think a lot of women are understanding that too.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard of SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere!
Oh my God, she said yes. Why are you with a bitch that would say no? Why are you with a woman, paying for her dinner, sleeping next to her every night, not fucking all these hoes, not cheating, behaving yourself, coming home, not hanging out with the boys? You're doing all this shit for that bitch, and you're not 1,000% sure she would say yes? And you're sitting there going, I hope she says yes. And then if she does, you're happy? Let me tell you something. There ain't a bitch alive. There ain't a bitch I fucked in the last 10 years who wouldn't say yes to me after getting fucked once. Fuck the relationship. I can sleep with any bitch out here one solitary time and say, we're gonna get married. And you know what she's gonna say? Okay, yes. Of course she'll say yes. Why are you fuckers surprised?
Keto.
I do know that this man is going to be okay, because here's what happens. Sometimes when they cancel people, they end up giving them an even bigger platform.
They tried to ban us, and we Aikido'd it. And here we are.
Like I tuck it. Walk it 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 like I tuck it. Hey, walk it like I tuck it. 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 Walk it like I tuck it.
What the fuck are you doing with your time and your life? I don't understand how you do not have a fire in your mind that is compelling you to conquer Earth. You've got all this time and you're not doing anything with it.
If you're a man who has his shit together, at a certain level of status, you can say to a woman, look, I love you with all my heart, I want to be with you, I'm going to take care of you, but you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm in charge, because this is my life, we're on the Tate train, and we're headed to Success Station. I'm the one driving it, and if you're going to be on my train, certain things are going to happen. If you're unhappy, you can get off. No problem.
Black guy got his ass whooped and a white guy got his ass whooped just the same. People get ass whoopings. Like, why do we have to put a race on the ass whooping? Stop ass whoopings. Why add a race in? Stop police brutality. Why add a race in? Why are we adding race to everything? If all you look for is the same thing and you add a race taint to everything, then you're gonna see racism. That's how it works. That's how the world works. It's like when you buy a Lambo and you thought you never saw a Lambo before. Now you see them everywhere and you're mad because you thought you were special and you're not. It's the same thing. If all you look for and all you talk about is the same thing, you're going to identify it, right? So we need to stop all police brutality against all people, even against sexy caramel kickboxing world champions. Leave me alone. This is how the world needs to be. But it's just fixation on race, and to tie into maybe the Bitcoin argument a little bit, but I truly believe this is propagated by the ruling elites on purpose.
Why?
Because when a black billionaire meets a white billionaire, do you think there's any racism? Do you think they care? Of course, he's a billionaire, I'm a billionaire. Both our yachts are in Monaco. He's from Algeria, he stole all the gold. I'm a stock market whatever. There's no racism. The racism's for the poor people. Because if you keep the poor people divided, they can't wake up long enough to do what I did and read about how money works. Because if they do that, we're got big trouble, right? Then the slaves will wake up. You don't want to deprogram the slaves. So you have to convince the slaves that it's not the monetary system's fault that you're broke. It's not the monetary system's fault that you continue to work for a set number of dollars and the price of houses just keep going up and up and up. It's not the monetary system's fault. It's the white man's fault, or the black man's fault, or the Asian people's fault. Someone else's fault. Because if the poor people all fight each other, they can't wake up long enough to look up and go, oh, there's not actually that many of them. Ah, okay. You know, and we can change things. And this is what's crazy about it. I think all this stuff, feminism, racism, all these things, I think they're all control mechanisms. They have to keep the poor people fighting amongst each other, because if the poor people all unite, then it's much harder to control us.
You're not prepared to fight to defend an idea. And this is actually something you can extrapolate to how the whole world works, right?
Yeah.
When you find men who are physically capable or with high testosterone levels, we're allowed to have ideas which are abstract, because if someone disagrees with us, we're prepared to defend them. If you're a little bitch, what you do is you go through life and you say things that are completely socially acceptable because you don't want to ever have to defend your point.
You don't need 20 friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers and you can take over a country. We think we need all these motherfuckers. You give me 3 bad motherfuckers and you're finished. You understand me? You're fucking finished.
10 rules for real men. 1. Never beg a woman for love. A relationship with one-sided love is a recipe for disaster. 2. Never date a high-maintenance woman. They are never in search for love. Their sole interest is always men who can maintain them. Now you know. 3. A woman will test and disrespect you at all levels if you tolerate it. Never disrespect a woman and never tolerate disrespect from her. Simple. 4. Never beg a woman to stay who wants to leave you except you have reached a resolve that you want to become a slave. 5. Never ever consider taking back a woman if she left you for another man. She is coming back to finish the kill. Take her back if you have offered yourself up for destruction. 6. Never show your weakness to a woman. It may sound unromantic, but show her your weakness, then sit back and watch how she takes it for granted, then use and dumb you for a strong man. 7. Never you fight over a woman with another man. That's a dumb game. 8. Never allow a woman to pay your bills. Be a gentleman. Pay your own bills. Didn't you listen to number 6? 9. A real man will never allow her woman to have a male bestie. This may sound controlling, isn't it? But it is only a matter of time before he transforms from a bestie to friends with benefits. That is always the plan. 10. A real man is never abusive, never violent, never aggressive towards a woman, because they know when to leave when the time comes.
Now, there's no place in Black America you can go and find the 4 essential institutions needed for a community: bank, school, supermarket, hospital. And you know why that's ironic? Last year, Black America in 2016, we spent $2 billion on Air Jordans, $4 billion on liquor and alcohol, $600 million on fast food, and we bought twice the amount of Mercedes-Benzes as white America, although white America has twice the wealth of black folk. So the question becomes, what is it about the Mercedes-Benz that makes it so attractive to African Americans even when they can barely afford it. And it's because it's a status symbol.
That's all.
And one thing we know about oppressed people, when you can't enjoy true freedom, you surround yourself with the symbols of that freedom.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Louis bag is so important. That's why our children will kill for Air Jordans. It's not the sneaker, it's what it represents. And if I believe I'm worthless, that means I can only add value to myself by what I put on my body as opposed to what I put in it.
The reason I talk about women the way I do is because I hold myself to such a high standard as an individual. I don't make mistakes. I'm a professional. I know exactly how to act and exactly what to do. I do not need a woman to motivate me, to be my mother, to convince me to put the video games down. Please stop smoking weed. Everything I've done fantastic. I've done completely and utterly by myself. I did it without you. My life's amazing in every single possible metric. Now I'm going to allow you to join it, and therefore you're going to bend to my reality and my will. That's not me being an arrogant and a psycho. That's me just being completely realistic about my achievements as an individual. Let me explain male loyalty to you. There's two men, right? Both of them go to a fruit store. One of them can only afford apples. Every day he buys an apple, walks out the store and says, I love apples. But the truth is, motherfucker's broke, and it's all he can buy, right? Because he's a low value man. You have another G, walks in there, can have whatever he wants from the fruit store. 5 days a week he chooses an apple. Twice a week, sometimes he might have a big ass pineapple, but most of the time, 5 days a week, he chooses the apple.
We're being compared.
Who would you say genuinely loves apples more? Who is more loyal? The man with no options who chooses the apple, or the man with all the options in the world who still keeps coming back to the apple? The truth of the game is, in 99.9% of the time, it's the guy who can't get no pussy. The second he lucks out and gets a little bit of pussy on the side, he's fucking gone. Whereas the big G who's with you through it all, fucked them other 25 bitches and said, you know what, I fucked all 25 of them hoes and I don't give a shit. All I care about is that you smile. That's loyalty. All the times your grandparents went to work when they didn't feel like it, just for you to exist, for your selfish ass to say, no, me and my passions and my dreams and my shit drawings and my Instagram page is worth more than ever having children. That you should all have kids.
Okay. While that's not my mode of presentation, that is the content of my life's thinking. I don't know what there is to differ with.
Yeah. Fans of Andrew Tate, they would call this a commentate W.
The law is set up in a way in the Western world where men have absolutely zero power. Most men are clinically depressed, working jobs they hate, in sexless marriages, and they know they can't leave because they lose the house, and they lose the kids, and they lose everything else. You're not going to feel like a king or feel brave enough to go rebel against a new world order. You're not even feel in charge of your own house. Even the people who disagree with me, I said, if you see me pull up in my Bugatti in a gas station, do you look at me and think, wow, he went to school? Fuck no. You think drug dealer, gangster, scammer. Yeah. You think I'm doing something illegal because you understand if I was staying within the paradigms of the system, I couldn't have possibly achieved this. The only way you can fathom I've done it is by imagining me as an outlaw. Because you know within the paradigms of society, I shouldn't have even fucking done it. That's how much you know school's a scam. You don't look at someone rich and respect them thinking he went to school. The people you are learning from in school aren't even fucking rich. Your business professors never had a business.
Who's better set up for their career, to be Triple G or be Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor is more famous. It's show business. We live in an attention economy. The economy we live in now is based on attention. If you can get attention in your direction for any reason, bad or good, you will be successful. The Kardashians have no reason to be successful. It's attention. It's the world we live in now, and there's so much information and so much entertainment around. Garnering people's attention, stealing people's attention is difficult to do. But if you can find a way to do that, you're going to do well.
I think the most miserable people on earth are those people who are born filthy rich. Money has no value. A Ferrari, you think it's gonna make you happy? Has no value. Nothing has value. Everything is just whatever. Girls have no value. You can buy unlimited hookers, you can buy unlimited Bugattis, you can buy whatever you want. Diamonds, it doesn't mean anything. You have to be broke to appreciate being rich. You need that. So anyone who's sitting there going, oh, I want money, good. You need to feel how you feel now. Being poor is what's going to make you happy once you have money. It's the journey, not the destination.
Main reason he got cancelled is not because of him saying things about women that are being taken out of context. It's not that. It's the fact that he's waking a lot of people up, exposing the power systems that are in play right now that keep us slaves. The powers that be don't want a guy like that convincing millions of young men to wake up.
This is the only time in human history where the betas of Earth had power over the alphas. Before this, they had no power, but now they have a little bit of power. They can cancel you. That's what they can do. They can come along and cancel you. And everyone they've canceled so far ended up canceled. So they thought they could cancel the top G. It's the weapon that always works. They fired the bullet that never fails. It bounced off of my skin, and here I am. I still emerge more powerful than ever before. There is a large contingent of the population. There's a large contingent of men out there who don't want to wear makeup, who don't want to be girls, who don't want to be told they're toxic because they want to go to the gym, who want to drive nice cars, who want to have money, who want to have hot chicks. And there's nothing wrong with us. We are not evil. We are not bad. We're not misogynistic. We're not out to hurt anybody. Let me tell you one more thing. When bad things happen, they call men like us. The feminists who hate us and call us toxic, the second they have trouble, they'll call a police officer. Do you think they want a feminist male to turn up or a man like me and you? They need us and they use us. But the second we have an opinion, the second I decide to voice and talk about the things that we talk about, explain our points of view, they want to cancel us. They don't want us to speak. They just want us to defend them, build the railroads, build the roads, be the workhorses, be the slaves, and they think we're not allowed our point of view. Well, they made a fucking mistake, because I, like every great leader throughout history, charge first, before my army, cavalry charge at the enemy. You can cancel me. I'm about to pave the road for every other man out here with an opinion who's going to get canceled. I'll show you where to fucking go. Bro, let's get ready to rumble.
Out on a date with a guy makes me a slut, then that's just what I'm going to be.
I don't think going out on a date makes you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
A life without children is vapious, and it's inane, and it's pointless. And you may sit here and think that your career matters, but the truth is that your job will fire you out of wind. Don't give a second. Don't give a solitary shit. And when you're 52 and you're past it with no grandchildren in a house by yourself, and all your friends have grandchildren in this beautiful life, and you're sitting there by yourself, do you think the fact that you can afford a few extra Gucci bags is going to genuinely make you feel happy? I was at my grandmother's 93rd birthday. I stood there and I looked at my 93-year-old grandmother, and there was a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable? Yeah. That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. You had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman who dedicated herself to being a mother and a good wife. That is beautiful.
Earl, I know you have very strong thoughts on the concept of feminism, and you reacted to Jordan Peterson.
Yes.
Friend of the show, autograph right here. He's our guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Tell us what you've learned from him in the concept of feminism.
Oh, I think feminism lies to women. So I think they tell you to chase the bag, follow your career, and someone is still going to want you at the end of it. And I think that is a lie. I think men don't prefer older women, and I think they don't prefer career women. And a lot of times these women end up single, childless, and alone because feminism told them that was going to get them the results that they wanted, and it doesn't.
I don't like feminism at all. I've never even identified as a feminist. You have to think I'm a Latina that grew up in a lower socioeconomic status in a single mother home. To me, feminism just seemed like an affluent white woman problem. I was like, what are the complaints? What really don't we have in the West? I served in the United States Army. They let me do that. So I just don't see it. And you can look around. Women are oppressed. They keep saying that we're oppressed, but then we're also empowered. And so how do I know when to assume responsibility for the outcomes of my life? I think that that's a poor message to sell to young girls, especially with the rise of fatherless homes. Like, that's a horrible message.
I think being a woman is an advantage, not a disadvantage in business. I think that the girls that say that like their gender is holding them back in business tend to be lazy, and that's actually why they're held back.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
Why? Because it's not that hard to be successful in
So
business.
you like that Kim Kardashian video, get your fucking ass up and work?
A little bit, yeah. I think people that are always blaming the world for their problems are usually lazy, and it's usually them because they're the common denominator in all those situations. Your value decreases as a woman the older you get, and your opportunity to give a man children is less and less the older you get. Yeah, you can have IVF, but most guys don't want to spend, like, what is it, 30K?
16K. And
16K,
it doesn't
yeah.
even work most of the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, if a guy can pick, a 35-year-old woman or a 25-year-old woman, he's going to pick the 25-year-old woman.
I don't think a lot of people are talking about this because they're scared of getting canceled or they're scared of what will happen if they don't fit the agenda as well. I simply don't give a fuck. The elites and the people that actually run the world, they don't like any of that stuff. They're just pushing it because they know it makes us weaker and it causes a divide, which makes us easier to control. If you can't see that, you're fucked either way. But someone like Tate comes along and says, hey, fuck that. This is how you be a man. This is what masculinity is about. Having honor, discipline, courage, sacrifice, all these things, and gets deleted for simply having an opinion that is contrary to popular belief or contrary to the agenda of the people that pull the strings. That's what I want you to see.
If someone calls you fucking fat, they may be bullying you, but you might be fucking fat. Someone calls you dumb, it's mean, but you might be fucking dumb. It's life, man. Take it for what it's worth and change it.
And that terrible feeling when someone does tell you that you're fat, you can use that as fuel.
As fuel, period.